Cajun, and Creole flavors, which is where our roots come from. And so we'll go ahead and get started. Today we are making, well, welcome to our kitchen, right? This is the first time we actually get to cook in our personal kitchen. And so we're super excited. There's a lot of magic that happens here. And so we're making a what today?
We are making a Fiesta sweet potato. And today is Indigenous Peoples Day. And so we're honoring the native folks of the Americas, and then also with our culture. So we have some sweet potatoes. And it was really a dope opportunity to do the blend, but just also talk about like sweet potatoes as it comes from our country. I mean, as they are native here, but then also like a big staple in the Black community and the Black cuisine. And we were talking a little bit about a little history of George Washington Carver. A lot of folks know him more about the peanuts, but didn't know that he actually made a lot of things out of sweet potatoes, like stamp glue, molasses. Some of the things that folks use today was made and tested and worked through by George Washington Carver. So,
in a lot of traditional African cultures too, the yam is as considered a sacred food. Like you'll see in certain parts of Africa, they have huge yam festivals, right? And I think this again is reclaiming our connection to our food and our land. And so part of our practice is also highlighting that. So let's get into these sweet potatoes. So we'll go over what you all will need. How do we switch this? Be patient with us, y'all. And so these are some of the staple seasonings that we'll use that you can find at your everyday grocery store. So we'll use Himalayan salt, right, as a seasoning. And Himalayan salt is super, super potent. So you'll actually find yourself using it a lot less than your regular salt, right? Especially if you're trying to watch your salt content. It also contains natural minerals. And for many of us, people always talk about, oh, because you guys are vegan, do you miss out on a lot of protein? But what we don't know is a lot of us are mineral deficient, right? And so you want to use Himalayan salt as a support with that. We have black pepper, some ground paprika we'll be using, some basil, ginger, some no salt Cajun seasoning. You know, this is a staple in the Black community. And then for our sauce, we'll be using some of this cashew yogurt. All right, so Amy's going to go ahead and take it over for us as we start first.
Hello, welcome back. So we're going to be making the beans first. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut up some bell peppers. And so I'm going to cut the bell peppers. You want to make sure that you wash your hands because you want to be in cleanly.
And bell peppers are like, most cultures have a flavor base, right? And so for a lot of Creole or Cajun dishes, you'll see what they call the Holy Trinity. We're not using the whole Holy Trinity for this dish, but you'll usually see them have red, green bell peppers and also a little bit of celery as their flavor base. Right. Okay, knife skills.
Right. And so we're going to heat the pan up a little bit. And we want to make sure that when we're going to throw some grapeseed oil in there. And we prefer to use grapeseed oil because it has a higher burn tolerance. When you use like olive oil, when you start to cook it, it releases a lot of toxin fumes. And so we like to use grapeseed oil as our.
And grapeseed oil is pretty versatile too. So like you can fry with it, like she said, because it has a high heat tolerance. You can saute. And so that also, for those of us who are trying to save money, instead of buying several different oils, you can use grapeseed oil. And it's flavorful as well too.
And so we're going to let the pan heat up a little bit more. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw some garlic in there. So we chopped up some garlic. It looks like if you will go to the store, a lot of folks buy minced garlic, but we don't really use minced garlic because you really don't know how old the garlic is that's in the jar. So the best thing to do is to actually get a food processor and peel your cloves and then chop them up, and then you can store them in the refrigerator for later use. So you got to make sure a lot of the things, what we've learned in our process and our journey, especially with buying things that are pre-chopped and pre-seasoned, a lot of the times that when they chop things are pre-seasoned and they sell them to you in packages, it's because it's old. And so you want to make sure that you know exactly what your vegetables, where they come from, how old they are. So the best thing to do is just get it right out of the produce bin and chop it up yourself, because you don't want to be serving your folks some old garlic. I wanted to check this time my grandma taught me to check the oil. A little water, water, in our culture, they say water and oil don't mix, which is true. But, you want to just dab a little bit, and when it's hot, it'll start sizzling. I'm going to turn it up just a little bit. We have our sweet potatoes cooking. We had to pre-cook them for y'all. Okay, you hear that? It's a little sizzle. So I'm going to go ahead and put the garlic in. So I did, what is this, a teaspoon of garlic. And a tablespoon of onions. Well, I like two. I like a lot of onion. An onion, it could be a really overpowering depending on how, like the powder. So when you do use like onion powder, you should make sure that you don't put too much, because it can be pretty overpowering. And so I go ahead and saute, let it cook up a little bit, but the best way to get it is when it's translucent. So I put the, to like release some of the flavors here.
Because if it's not cooked down, it's not Cajun.
So you don't want to cook it all the way down, because we like how we make our vegetables. We like to have it a little crunch, because when you do cook it down, you cook a lot of the nutrition out. But we want to make sure that we keep that, and it just gives it a nice texture. And so we're going to put a little bit of the bell pepper I chopped earlier.
Like, we want to see the vegetables that we're eating. Oh, it smells so good. I wish y'all could smell this. Oh, it smells so good.
About 2 more minutes, and then I'm going to add, not 2 more, about a minute, add the black beans. We like to mix it in. Okay, so then I like to season my beans, and a lot of folks say, "Oh, what's the measurement?" We follow our ancestors. We season to the ancestors say, "Hush, child." So, but not too much, right? So we use a lot of this Tony seasoning in our community, and so we were actually able to find some that had no salt, and it's actually really good. It doesn't have a bad taste. It tastes similar, but we know that with that we could watch our salt intake, because a lot of our folks have high blood pressure, and a lot of that comes from like the seasonings that we put in our food. So. And then we have some black pepper.
The name of the seasoning is Tony Chachiris. I think that's how you say it. And it's a famous Creole seasoning. You can find it almost anywhere at most grocery stores.
And then I like to put a pinch of salt. You don't want to put too much. And then we also like, because seasoning, like bell peppers and onions, they all have their own natural flavor. So when you over seasoning, you miss that opportunity for the vegetables to shine. And so we like to let our vegetables shine. So that's about a pinch to my discretion. And so I put the pinch of salt in there. And then we just let the beans cook a little bit. Don't want to overcook them. So I'll let them cook about 5 minutes, and then I will pass it over to Ronnishia.
All right. All right. So in addition to the beans, we're going to go ahead and make what we call a massaged kale. And so we've taken some dino kale leaves that we've chopped and also washed, of course. And massaged kale is pretty good because, like we said, a lot of times people complain about kale being super, super potent in some of the ways, or tough. Instead of like putting on the in a pot and cooking it down like you would do collard greens, usually a lot of times that cooks out a lot of the nutrients. What I find is that you massage it or pair it with something acidic, it can help balance a lot of that potency. So I'm going to take a little bit of, again, this grapeseed oil, pour in. And then I'll take a little bit of this white wine vinegar. And so that this will give us a little bit of that acidity that we're looking for as well. Yes. And then I'll take some salt. Salt. Just a little. Some pepper. Where's the pepper? A little pepper. And then some ginger to give it a little razzle dazzle of flavor as well. I love ginger. I don't know about y'all. And then let me wash my hands a little bit.
That is a mandatory step all the time in the kitchen.
Then I'll take a little bit of this lime juice, squeeze. And then I like to add a little bit of smokiness. So I'm gonna add a little paprika. So then that way when people are getting this kale in the potato, it gives it a little punch of flavor. And then you go ahead and y'all ready? You massage all of that flavor into the kale. You massage it. I don't know about y'all, but I love to feel my food, right? That's how we get connected again to what we're eating. And you see, you want to make sure it's completely covered, right? And all that flavor is saturated. And you can also do this maybe an hour or so before you prepare your meal. So that way you can kind of marinate it a little bit. May wrap it and put it actually into the refrigerator. And ta-da, we got that step done. Let me rinse my hands. And I'll turn it over to Rheema, who's gonna go ahead and grill our corn for us in this nice cast iron skillet. Tell them about the cast iron skillet. Your grandma on this cast iron skillet?
This is a staple in the Black family, the cast iron skillet. You make everything in here, from cornbread to we're going to grill some corn. And this is something that's traditionally like passed down in families. And so my grandmother is a big fan of a cast iron skillet. And my sister actually got this for us. And this is something that is going to be passed down to our future chefs in our family.
And when you see a lot of Cajun or Creole dishes, like the jambalaya folks know a lot about, or even gumbo, a lot of those are traditionally cooked in cast iron. Because yes, gravy, because the heat, the amount of heat that comes from the cast iron, and also to believe that you get iron in the African American community as well, it gives you that real crisp Cajun flavor as well. And so we're going to use that for our grilled corn. Okay, go ahead.
And so what we have here is white corn, and we've pre-peeled it, but we also have a little bit of what are these called? I don't know what they're called, but we like to pull these off. So I'm going to rinse them off and just make sure that, we get most of them up. So they'll cook off, but you want to have, you want your corn to be actually like clean.
Quick hands, right?
Let me just do one more. So we have 2 pieces of corn.
And then I'm going to go ahead and turn her skillet on for her. We're going to use this like a grill. And so we'll want it to heat up and actually be almost what you would consider too hot.
Okay. I'm going to cut this tip off because the kernels are kind of gone, but so as the pan heats up, we're going to pour some grapeseed oil in there again and allow it to heat up and sizzle. And then we will put the corn on. And this corn, the white corn is I like better because it's sweeter. And so like when you do like a barbecue, it adds that sweet balance to like if you have like barbecue sauce or something. The white corn for me is the sweetest. So I prefer the white corn. All right. So our pan is still heating up. I'm gonna do a dance break.
Dance break. You aren't dancing while you were cooking.
You're doing something wrong. Yeah, usually it's a whole vibe. I know traditionally in our family and our families is that we do a lot of things with music. And so normally when we are cooking in the kitchen, we do have music and a genre of music. We actually have a playlist of some of the songs we play while we're cooking in the kitchen. So if you're ever interested in cooking like the vegan hood chefs, you definitely should check out our playlist on Spotify. So this pan is heating. Sorry, y'all.
In the meantime, you can check out these beans.
And I wish you could smell them.
So bomb. All right.
I think they're actually finished. Okay. So we're going to test the pan again. Like I said before, a little water.
Not quite ready.
Not quite there, but it's okay. It's coming. You can hear a little snap, crackle, and pop.
Nice. I cannot wait to hear the playlist. Yay! All right. Oh, almost. I hear it.
Yep, it's coming. And see, when you're cooking, the pan is making music. It's like snap, crackle, pop. So that's exciting.
Oh, Oreo.
That's our doggy.
Say hi, Oreo. All right, here we go.
So I put it in there a little prematurely, but let's get it. So you just like to put the pan, and the goal is you want a little char, but not too much. If you have a griddle or a grill, that would be like the best option to do. But if you don't, you can just do it on a cast iron skillet. And this skillet is really dope because it's a double purpose skillet. You can use it on the stovetop, or you can also put it in the oven, which is amazing when you can make one pot dip or one pot dishes.
Fast, inexpensive.
Right. And like you could carry this down. Like we have skillets at our house from like the 30s.
Before we were born.
Skillets older than us. And it's really dope, So definitely if you need to invest in a cast iron skillet. You see how hot it got? So it's like to char it on each side. And so it's still, and you just occasionally roll it over and you can tell that it's not ready. So you could adjust the heat if you want to. I'm going to go ahead and put it on high, and you just have to make sure you monitor it because you don't want to burn it. Then you have popcorn in this thing. We're not looking for popcorn. We were trying to get corn on the top.
Oh, here's the sizzle.
See?
Let's start on our sauce while we wait on the corn. Yeah. You want to pick it?
Okay. All right.
So for our sauce, again, for the flavor balance, because we know that sweet potato gives you kind of that rich, sweet flavor. So we want to make something that will give it a balance. And so a little acidity as well, right? And so we're going to use this Forager cashew milk yogurt. Really, really good organic brand. A little pricey, but look at the value of yogurt that you get for the price. I think we paid about $5.50 for this at Safeway. All right. And so I am going to take about a spoonful of the cashew yogurt, maybe 2. And then we're going to go ahead and add in some red miso. Get this out. And this is what, a teaspoon? What is it? Tablespoon. I'm sorry. And go ahead and mix this around. So good. You can also put this in a blender as well too. It'd be a little easier, a food processor if you like. And then I'm gonna take some lime juice and squeeze it in there. Some of this ginger. This is about 1/4 of a teaspoon of ginger. And then a 1/2 of a teaspoon of smoked paprika. And then I'm going to also add some of our garlic in here. And then lastly, a little black pepper. And this will be our topper sauce for our potatoes. So once this is all mixed together, you can go ahead and set this to the side. And this is really good too, not just for this potato, but you can put it on anything. Spread it on bread for sandwiches. We ate this with some grilled asparagus that was really, really good. Really, really bomb. All right. So we see we have our corn smoky. But about 1 more minute and it should be done. But you see, we just wanted to get some color on there for y'all. Okay. So next we will go ahead and pull out our potatoes and we're getting ready to plate. You switch. Yes. All right.
Let's just look at the nice char that is on the corn. Remember how I said that the pans serves both as a top skillet or a skillet that can go on top and on the bottom. So we actually wrapped our sweet potatoes in foil after braising them in grapeseed oil.
Right, hot. I'm gonna come behind you. Okay. Right. Look at that color. Woo. And then wrap it in foil helps the potatoes to have a little bit more moisture in the skin and the top areas, and that way, when you pull them out, they aren't super dry. I'm gonna cut them right down the middle because this is where we'll stuff them. Look at that nice cut. Woo. Thank you. Pass me. I got it. And then I'm gonna go ahead and spread it open just a little bit. And we've already basted the potatoes with butter, a little bit of salt, and also a little bit of pepper as well too. Right. So first, we are going to go ahead and add our beans. Mm-hmm.
I wish you were here to smell it, Pat. It smells really good.
What we didn't show for time purposes was that we also boiled some quinoa, which is also a healthier alternative or healthier grain than traditional rice that people use. And this happens to be the tri-colored quinoa. And I find this more versatile when cooking because some of the quinoa people say the white, like if they cook it, it's a bit mushy. And so this really helps. I think the tricolor has a little bit more versatility. So then we'll go ahead and add that.
Yum.
Then next, we're gonna add our massaged kale. Yes. You a load of that, honey. Stuff it in there a little bit so that you can get it with every bite. Y'all see how big these potatoes are. Stuff it. Oh my gosh. And we worked out earlier before this, so we are hungry, y'all. Right. And then we're gonna take our corn. Should be cool enough now. Let's cut off of the first.
Not only does the roasted corn bring out the sweetness, it also looks really appealing. And you know, a lot of folks, they eat with their eyes. So we want to make sure that when we cook our food, we make it look really good.
There we go. So go ahead and let's add this to our potatoes. Look at that. Get some of this color in here.
Yes, get into it. Come through.
Mm-hmm. And then we have a little red onion that we've chopped for a little extra flavor. Oreo's excited too, huh? And then for our last little surprise, we have some avocado. I'm gonna go ahead and quick peel it. Chop. And add a few pieces of this. Yes, honey. All right, and then our final steps. Remember our special sauce we made? We're gonna go ahead and give it a little drizzle over. Oh, look at that.
Bam, like Emerald Lagasse. Bam.
Yes.
Ooh.
And then we have some special sauce. We can't tell y'all what's in this.
It's a garden sauce.
Our garden sauce, but it's a coconut milk base with cilantro We're gonna add that on there too for a little razzle dazzle. All right. And so here we are, ta-da, with our stuffed Fiesta sweet potatoes.
Yeah. Those are the most beautiful sweet potatoes I've ever seen. Those are so gorgeous.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness. I am so hungry. I want that right now. And I know I'm not the only one. I see everybody in all the comments saying that just looks amazing. It looks gorgeous and nutritious. Oh, wow.
There you go. A little more light for you guys.
Oh, that is beautiful. Well, my very first question is, when are we going to see the Ronnishia and Rheema cooking show? Because that's, I think, what needs to happen.
Well, we're working on something.
Right on.
Yeah.
That's a must do. You two have such great chemistry together. You're perfect on camera. Your teamwork was astounding. And we do have a couple of really quick questions if you have time.
Yeah.
Okay, the first one was, what was the secret spice you used earlier? I believe it was Tony's.
Yes. Oh, yeah. So what I have seen though, they do, most of the stores that do carry this are in Black communities. So they have this, like, so if we're in Bayview, they would have it at Foods Co, Super Save, sometimes Safeway. Yeah.
Oh, that is a good tip right there. Yummy. And then we had a follow-up question. What did you add to the yogurt sauce once you whipped up the yogurt out of the container? What did you put in it? I think somebody missed that little part.
Red miso.
We put red miso in the yogurt sauce.
And ginger and lime juice.
And pepper. Yeah, and lime juice.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that sounds so good. That sounds so good. Yeah, everybody wants to eat that right now. And I've got some support on the cooking show. So I think like all of us would be dedicated fans. So
awesome.
You definitely tell anybody who needs to know that you have a whole bunch of vegans that are totally interested and down for cooking show.
Yeah, and if you are interested in trying our food or in the Bay Area, we're actually having a pop-up this weekend. This week, Thursday and Friday, back to back at the Speakeasy Brewery on Evans Street.
Yeah, from 2 to 7 p.m. or until we sell out.
Yeah, gotta get there
quick.
And we do have an Instagram. We are on all social media platforms except Twitter under @theveganhoodchefs, and on Twitter we're just Vegan Hood Chefs
because it wouldn't fit.
Excellent. So definitely we'll share that on our social media as well, so we can help get the words out for that. And I know that you all are working with the Plant Power Brothers on the Heal the Hood tour too. Would you like to speak about that for a minute?
Yes.
Yeah, so the Heal the Hood tour actually is in line with our mission, and also we met Cat Fitness and Plant Power Brothers. They came to us asking to celebrate Cat's anniversary of his health scare that they wanted to feed 300 people. 900, I'm sorry, 900 people. And we're basically going to communities that are affected by food insecurity. And so the first stop was in the Bayview district in San Francisco. We just had one last week in Oakland, West Oakland to be specific. And then we'll also be going to Richmond. And at each spot, we're feeding 300 people, giving out free produce. So we've partnered with different places like the San Francisco Wholesale Produce Market,
Gus Organics
Market,
Mandela Market, Mandela Grocery Market.
And then in addition to the produce that we're giving to the community, we also we've cooked 300 meals to give out as well too. And then we have a number of speakers who are plant-based to talk about plant-based living
and how they were able to heal themselves from things like asthma. One of our panelists lost 340 pounds from becoming a vegan. And we also are very intentional in the spaces that we are hosting our events. We are hosting them in community gardens. And the first one was at the Florist Fang Garden in San Francisco, and it's basically they have another space that a Bayview native has been working on, and Fahim Carter. And just to have that in your community and have folks that are from the community gardening, I think is a big resource, in that we don't really know, or we don't really see Black folks in the gardens in the city, like in San Francisco. So like to see that was a really dope experience, and just to have folks know that that is a resource. And this Saturday we were at City Slicker Farms in West Oakland, and it was a beautiful space. They had chickens, they had beehives, they had a bunny,
you name it,
everything. But they also are really a resource of the community. They go in, they give free produce to community neighbors all the time, and it's free. Every day they're open, and they also have a program where if you're interested in starting a garden in your backyard, where they will come and help you.
Yeah, and the whole purpose of this is that we feel like communities of color are often targeted in a very, very negative way. Like we know corporations, fast food companies target kids, from urban communities. And so they can target that. We have to be as intentional with targeting our communities with helpful information as well. And so like we also want to appeal to a younger audience. Like people turn plant-based because a lot of times out of more reactionary, trying to heal illnesses. And we feel like we want to make being healthy cool. And so definitely are marketing to a younger audience with our platform, but just the Heal the Hood in general.
I just love this project so much. And I know the next stop is going to be in Richmond, correct?
Yes.
Oh, that's excellent. We'll be sharing that.
Yay. Well, we went to school in the Peninsula, Daly City, Pacifica. So.
Oh, excellent. I'm so excited about this. And I love that we kind of came full circle on with World Veg Fest, because we started with the Plant Power Brothers, and you all are finishing out the World Veg Fest. So it's been a Heal the Hood love fest from beginning to end. Thank you both so much for joining us tonight. We really appreciate it. You are amazing. And I hope that I get to work with you again in the very near future. I have a little plan in my mind about doing some chefy things soon. So I'll reach out really soon about that.
Of course. Yeah, please let us know. And if anybody is interested in following us, make sure you follow us on Instagram at
The Vegan Hood Chefs,
and
or our website.
Yeah, www.theveganhoodchefs. And we also have a blog that's very interactive. It's called What's Good on the Hood, where we drop actual recipes for folks. We have a shopping list for folks that are transitioning into becoming vegan, and just different articles about how wonderful it is to be a vegan. And if anybody's interested in supporting us, we're actually have a capital campaign, and we are fundraising to get a food truck. So we will be able to be on wheels and come to a community near you and heal the hood one stop at a time, literally.
Oh,
Period.